It's not just Siddha herbs, but Siddha medicine, because both Siddha and Ayurveda most people know because it's very popular. Siddha medicine and Ayurvedic medicine are considered as medicine in India, legal medicines, but unfortunately not given the status that allopathy enjoys for various reasons. Siddha means an accomplished person, a man with miraculous powers. In Tamil, it's called Chittar. Chittar. In Sanskrit, it is Siddha. Chittar explains the Siddha medicine better than the Siddha. And although Siddha has a connotation of Chit as well. Chit means the miraculous mind, or the mind of God. The mind of God is called Chit. The mind of the human being is called Chitta. The mind of God is Chit. If you have Chit, you can do miracles. So the people who founded this medicine are Chittas or Chittar, who are able to do miracles. The historicity of this medicine is complex. The scientists, the Western historians would put it around, say, around 5th century BC, not more than that. But then the tradition says it is timeless, which I believe, because the founder of Siddha medicine itself is Shiva. Shiva is the founder of this Siddha medicine, who is a god. So the origin of Siddha medicine is from different galaxies. And that is why it is very, very precious medicine. Unfortunately, it has not been brought to the light up until now. Now, this medicine regards the plants as living beings. Each plant has its own god, goddess, or angel. And these angels sacrifice their lives for the sake of human beings to help with their with different cures for different diseases. Unfortunately, this information is kept away from the understanding of practitioners. And worse, even practitioners don't care about that. But if you go to a true Siddha doctor, he would say that I have to go and get the permission from the goddess who is controlling this, the curative process, and make the god or goddess to agree to cure the disease. And to make it more complicated, again, before I go to that, this is not very new. If you go to ancient Greece, the plants have gods or goddesses or angels behind them. But then the Greek tradition is not alive, but the Siddha tradition is alive. Although it is not widely practiced, the traditional Siddha masters, who are Siddha physicians, do that. They are not well known, but then they don't compromise on that. And because they don't do it for money, that's the most important thing. They just do it for donation. And it is also a personalized medicine. that makes it even harder for people to practice. Personalized medicine means that you cannot give the same, you can give the same medicine to different people, but you have to customize it for that person. See, the customization, is based on your date of birth, your star of birth, and then the other things is personalized medicines. This is a concept that is being promoted at Harvard Medical School and other leading medical schools. So medicine should not be like one size fits all. That's not going to work. So it has to be given to individuals. But then that is idealistic, strictly from the point of view of commercialization, because all pharmaceutical companies won't be excited about personalized medicine unless everybody wants to pay the kind of money that the pharma companies would want them to pay. I just wanted to mention one thing that I just missed about the historicity of this medicine. The reason why we are not able to precisely get the history of this medicine is because in India, people are apathetic towards time. Because time is about facts, about relative things, but they are involved in dealing with truth, absolute truth. So, in other words, to put it differently, it is the content that matters, not the time, who discovered it when. And then the other point is Shiva is the founder, and his son Muruga got involved in it, and he is also a co-founder of this medicine. And it's not that they lived at one point of time, maybe several centuries before Christ, on the earth plane. There are evidences, literature available on that. They were living on the earth plane in Tamil Nadu. So we have parallels also for this model in ancient Greece. Gods and goddesses participated in human affairs, and then so there is a parallel to this idea of gods living at one point of time along with human beings, and then they gave the knowledge. So what is important is the divine knowledge that became available just not only at a time, several centuries ago or millenniums ago, but the most important point is the Siddhas would be able to channel Shiva or Muruga, and then they were able to get the medicine. And for instance, one of the leading Siddhas in Siddha medicine is Agastya. My company Agastya Biotech is named after Agastya. He is considered the father of all the Siddhas as far as Siddha medicine is concerned. And he would channel Shiva. He would channel Muruga. And even a contemporary Siddha would do the same and get a new medicine. So time becomes irrelevant for them. That's the idea. And then another important point about this medicine is it is not only for the physical body. So they believed in subtle bodies. There is a physical body is one of them, which is the food body, which is the Annamaya Kosha, which is the physical body. And then there is also a mental body. This is the Manomaya Kosha, which is the mind, as an entity that controls the disease or any other experience. Then the Pranamaya Kosha, which is the prana, which is the life force. So the life force is also a component. And then there's a layer of the body. And then there is also Anandamaya Kosha. The body, you can attain a body which is in bliss. And then there is the fifth body is called Vijnanamaya Kosha, which means the body of wisdom. So the medicine has to work on all these levels, not just on the physical body alone. And then they devised methods of how you can address the physical body, the mind body, the pranic body, and then the bliss body, and then the wisdom body. And then crystals were used, Mantras were used. Mantras are very important because now we are, I was reading the other day on sonic genetics. There is a new science that is emerging, how sounds affect the biology or even genes. Okay, they are, the research I was looking at was only on some preliminary studies, not yet on humans, only on preclinical level, but they have found great results. But this sonic genetics is part of the Siddha medicine. Okay, you can change your genes through mantras. And the mantras again relate back to the gods and goddesses or the angels who are behind the plants. Whatever is acceptable to allopathy, came to be respected because it's an evidence-based medicine. There is no evidence for Siddha medicine because they're not that there is no evidence, but then we haven't paid the price for it, which is very expensive, to do research on Siddha medicine, especially with all the complications that I have just mentioned to you. But anyway, now what happened, unfortunately or fortunately, or both together, Siddha medical schools were started. Within the next, I would say 50 years or even later. And there are a lot of medical schools coming. And they study like 5 years after their school, go to the Siddha medical school. And the Siddha medical school, they don't take any of these personalized medicine seriously. How you have to go and collect the herb for individual on a particular time. All these things, or the mantra is important, or the goddess behind the herb is important. All these have been dumped as, not relevant, but they are more relevant than the phytochemical itself. Okay. Even we have not studied the phytochemicals, we just give the herbs, as they are, without putting them through any kind of, prescriptions given by the Siddhas who are the founders of this medicine. So that is very unfortunate. And that's one of the things that I want to revive. Maybe personalized medicine would be the right thing for the West, because in the West, people could afford medicine, personalized medicine, and the people living in the developing countries may not be able to do that. But some compromises can be made on that. The Chronopharmacology is a concept that the Siddhas insist. There are days when the medicine will work better. So they say these are the days you should take this medicine. These are the days you should not take this medicine. So now it tells you how, they were able to tune into the relationship between time and the action of the chemicals. So everything changes. Everything is subjected to time. They are subjected to planetary influences, the planet's influences. That's one. That brings us to astrology, which is another point I missed. Astrology is part of the Siddha medicine also. So the diseases are created by planets. So not only do you have to, give the medicine, the herbs to the people, but also you have to pray or use the mantra or yantra or rituals, or like fire rituals, etc., in order to heal a disease. So astrology is just only a study of time. So time impacts on the chemicals. So some days are neutral days. You may take the medicine, but it won't work at all. So why bother taking it? It's just a waste. So that is the concept behind the chronopharmacology, which is very advanced chronopharmacology, because the Western chronopharmacology is mostly, they study the diurnal and nocturnal rhythms, and then they have seen studies on what happens when you take a medicine on full moon day versus new moon day. All this I know because one of my colleagues at the University of Pittsburgh was a chronopharmacologist. He was a psychiatrist at the Western Psychiatric Institute, and his specialty was chronopharmacology. And I told him, because he's also from Tamil Nadu, why don't you look at the 5 different divisions of time, called Panchang, the Tithi, the day, or the yoga, the karana. These are all little small units of time, which comes with certain characteristics to influence the plant as well as the body. Now, let me move on to what I am trying to do, or I have been trying to do with the revival of this medicine. I came to know and took note of the limitations of the Siddha medicine. For instance, there is a herb, Gymnea sylvestre. It is called sugar killer, literally sugar killer. And it is one of the oldest herbs. And who named it as sugar killer? The Siddhas, the Ayurvedic people do. And how did they know it? It kills the sugar. It is by observation. There was no way of testing like we do now. We cannot even have a glucometer to see, your sugar is 100 or 200 or 400 or whatever. So we want to introduce those tools, metrics, into Siddha medicine, so that it can be very useful for us to study. Not only that, the study of molecules and proteins in the study. And that is where we did some work. And we have some progress also made in that area. And toxicity, and then increasing the efficacy, then the bioavailability. This is a major problem with Siddha medicine, which needs to be addressed. And that is the bioavailability is, for instance, like we say that curcumin, the bioavailability is very, very low, in single digits. And it gets excreted, as soon as possible. And that frustrates people because turmeric is a herb that was brought to uh, the southern India by Muruga from another galaxy, from the Pleiades. And if you know, as you know, that turmeric has now the curcumin, which is an active ingredient in turmeric, that has about 40,000 research articles and 4,000 patents. And everybody says that if we can somehow make this curcumin to stay in this system, then we can cure a lot of diseases, not just cancer. But then the problem is it doesn't stay. It is excreted. And it is not only the case with turmeric, but there are a lot of herbs, whether they are Siddha herbs or Ayurvedic herbs, they have the same problem. Another problem it has is the water solubility. Okay. And so that needs to be addressed. And then, so we are also working on that. So these are our attempts to modernize the medicine. So the last thing that I want to mention is, because this medicine has been there for several millenniums, and they have seen these practitioners of the Siddha medicine and the Ayurvedic medicine, they have seen periodically during their, like say, even if you say about 10,000 years history, they have seen many viruses come and go. And they had dealt with successfully and identified herbs that have antiviral nature. So there is a potential to look at these herbs just not only as antivirals, but the antiviral herb will also be useful for your dental problem or your vision problem. This is something very, very unique about the Siddha herbs. They target everything. That's why they have a term called Sarvaroga Nivarani, which means this is a medicine which can cure all diseases. And sometimes it comes to me, my own personal experiences, I shared with some people already. One day I was meditating, and a thought came to me that this curcumin will be useful for decalcifying your pineal gland. And then I went and looked at it, and it was the case. So the main point is, you can meditate and get intuition out of it. And it is through intuition the Siddhas were able to find these herbs. And they were able to see the gods and goddesses, the angels, and then with that, and talk to the angels and ask them, would you please sacrifice for this, for people, and all these things. Meditation is considered like Siddha medicine, one solution to all problems. And it is because, as I said, that everything can be reduced to the 5 elements. The 5 elements are the building blocks of the universe. Whether it is a drug or whether it is human biology, they are all made up of the 5 elements. So the five elements, if you can understand and use them to rectify the problems we have, whether on the body or on other levels in the phenomenal world, it will be very lucrative. So the five elements are, as you know, earth, water, fire, air, and akash, which is sometimes translated as ether, but akash is much more than ether. So if the body can be introduced to these five elements in their sound level, their sound basis, there is a sound basis for these five elements. And that will be curative, according to the Siddhas. Not only curing one of the five bodies, but all the five bodies. You know, remember that I talked about the different bodies, beginning with the physical body and the mental body, the pranic body, and then the bliss body, and then the wisdom body. All of them are layers, like in a concentric circle, you know, layered one after another. And if you can use these sounds to penetrate all these bodies, then you will not only be able to address the diseases that you have, but also develop even siddhi powers. Siddhi powers are supernormal powers because they are so these five element sounds are used for 8 different mahasiddhis. Mahasiddhis are, supernormal powers. It's a very simple technique. So that's what I'm going to give you now. Now close your eyes and focus attention on your legs, the 2 legs. Now focus attention on the feet, the shin and calf, then the knees, and then the thighs, all of them together. And I'm going to intone the sound. Na, N-A, na. Na. Intone the sound na into the 2 legs. Send the sound into the 2 legs. Na. Na. Now go to your abdomen. Focus attention on your abdomen. It's the navel chakra. The na represents the earth element. Now we are going to the next element, which is the water element in the abdomen area. Ma. Also join me when I am chanting, join me, and then also focus attention on the abdomen and sending the sound ma inside. Ma. Now go to the heart, the whole of the chest area. The whole of the chest area. It represents the fire element. The sound for it is she. She. Now include also your two hands, the arms, and the heart, the whole of the chest. It's the fire element. Now go up, focus attention on your neck, the thyroid gland, and then the mouth. And that's for the air element, Vayu. The thyroid, the tongue, the mouth. Now move up to the two eyes, the third eye and the brain, Shakash, which is the ether. The sound is Ya. Ya. Ya, the two eyes, the third eye, and the entire brain. Ya. 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 Now we are going to repeat it, starting from Na. Na at the two legs, Ma, the abdomen, Shi at the heart, Wa at the throat and the mouth, and Ya the eyes, the third eye, and the brain. Na. Ma. Shi. Va. Ya. Na. Ma. Shi. Va. Ya. Na. Ma. Shi. Va. Ya. Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya is the mantra for all the five elements. It's also the mantra for Lord Shiva, who is the founder of the Siddha medicine. Now you can relax. And slowly come back to yourself and open your eyes.